Hi, I'm Madison Mary and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my 2021 goals and 2020 reading stats. So creating my 2020 reading stats is one of my favorite things to do at the very end of the year. It is always such a blast and I'm very excited to give them to you today. So this will be a really short segment of this, but I'm someone who loves putting things into Excel and then getting graphs and pie charts out of it. So that's what this part's gonna be. So according to Goodreads, I read 111 books, but then when I tallied everything up, it was 110, and I think that one extra book was a DNF that I actually ended up rating on Goodreads, so we're gonna go with the 110. I read 38,685 pages throughout 2020, which is really awesome. I am going to put up now the different months and how much I read each month. So you can see that I read around about the most pages in August and April were kind of my big months, and then my lowest month is actually, is it November or is it January? Oh my god, it's actually January. January I read 1,737 pages and November I read 1,784 pages. So minuscule. But then we're gonna look at the number of books I read per month, and I read the least amount of books in January. So what's really interesting is that even though I read the most pages in August, it's actually not my highest month for number of books read. My highest number of books read per month was in April, where I read 13 books, which is really interesting. What did I do that month? Was that, it might have been the month that I was doing a bunch of different reading goals and all those really cool fun videos, which I'll get back to in a second. But yeah, that's always really cool to look at, and I like to compare it year to year to kind of see if there's certain months where I'm kind of more slumpy than others. I do realize that months that I have really big exams school-wise, those tend to be my lowest months, which is what happened in November this time around, and back in 2019 that was May. Now I'm gonna go into how I read each of my books. So that's physical, ebook, or audiobook. The most I read was physical books. Are we surprised? No. Why? My audiobooks was really down this year, and that's because I don't commute anywhere. I'm not walking to and from school. It's none of that stuff. So the couple of audiobooks I did listen to, it was when I was driving cross country and moving and stuff like that, which is kind of sad because I do love my audiobooks, but they're very specific, I don't just lie in bed and listen to audiobooks. People who can, I seriously commend you, but I cannot do that. So it was 72% physical, 24% ebook, and 5% audio. Wow. 5% sounds so sad. I did actually read quite a good chunk of ebooks, although those were pretty much in the back half. I've definitely become a lot more receptive to my ebooks lately, and there's no specific reason for that. I just am. Now we're going to go into the age ranges, which I was quite shocked at this year. So 1.8% were middle grade. It was really low this year, and that's definitely something I want to fix in this upcoming year, but it was low. It was really low. And then my new adult was 3.6%, which probably shocks a lot of people, and that's because I do have a hard time kind of allocating between new adult and adult, and especially when it's in the romance genre, but I did definitely read a lot more adult romances this year, adult smutty books. A lot of my smut wasn't characters who were in their early 20s or at college, which is quite surprising because that is one of my favorite genres to read, at college romances, and I really didn't read any this year. So that was really sad. So that's why it's pretty low. Without a shock, my main is 52% YA. I'm not surprised at all, but I was actually quite shocked to see that 45% was adult. My adult reading has definitely grown, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to, so that was really nice to see. And then lastly, we're gonna get to genres read, which can be very confusing to look at, so I'm gonna leave the graph on the screen for a long time, so you just get to listen to my lovely voice. So if you look at this graph, I read mainly fantasy, which, duh. But actually, if you ended up combining my contemporary and my romance smut and my historical romances, you would actually, and the paranormal, you'd actually see that it actually takes up more than the fantasy, but I decided to split things up because I can. My thriller horror was really low this year at 8.2%, but my contemporary is a lot higher, it's 16%. But I did actually read 5.5% nonfiction, which makes sense because I did read, some books for school, but that was still interesting. And I'm actually quite shocked. My sci-fi is 3.6%, and sci-fi is my least read genre normally, but it's actually magical realism and paranormal that are both 1.8%. I think I only read like 2 of each of those. Yeah, those are my really fun reading stats. I don't know, that was just something that like I wanted to do and I enjoy doing. I just think it's fun. And then I also always, like, whenever I'm requesting ARCs, I always say like, hey, this is like what I do. Like you can tell, like, I do read these books. It's just like a little fun like spark I like to add in. But moving on to 2021 goals, I do want to quickly say thank you so much. I hit 10K this week and I'm just floored. This was something I aspired to get like 100 people following me on this. And to now hit 10K is just, it's awesome. I don't like to focus too much on the numbers, but you know, they do matter to me to an extent, and I always think that it's really fun. So I do always have like some semblance of a subscriber goal each year. They tend to be like, I never be like really lofty. I'm not gonna be like, I wanna hit like 50,000. Like, could you imagine if that would have happened? Like, I wouldn't even know like what I would have to post to like get that to happen. But I do want to say my goal for this year is going to be 15K. Oh God, just like even saying that, it's just like 15,000. Like, what? Could you imagine? That would just be, wow. I do definitely, like, yeah, it's great to have like a great number of subscribers, but I do definitely want to pay a little bit more attention to my analytics when it comes to like my actual engagement. So it's actually kind of strange. I've read about half the people who actually watch my videos aren't subscribed to me. So I definitely want to like figure out a way to kind of help that and fix that. I'm going to actually start switching things around with how I like intro my videos soon. I'm just kind of like working on a couple things, but I do kind of want to be able to reach like a bigger audience, and I do have like cross-platform. I'm actually quite small when it comes to Bookstagram. I post it like occasionally, but I definitely do want to focus that a bit more this year. So that's like, it's not like a booktube goal, but it's like a book goal in general. I also started TikTok. Why? I don't know, because it was fun and I think some of the stuff on there is hilarious. I'm on it like 50% of my day. If I'm not reading and I'm not sleeping and I'm not eating, I'm on TikTok. It's not good, but it is me. So I actually started a TikTok channel, account for like books and stuff. So I'll actually link that down below if you guys aren't already following it, but yes. That's also another thing it's one of my goals for this year is to stop saying guys so much. I don't know if you realized, but around about halfway through last year, I stopped like introing my videos and ending it with guys, because while it was like just a generic like term I was using, I do know that there's a lot of people out there who don't identify that way, even though that's not what I mean. And so I'm trying to find ways to make my verbiage more inclusive of everyone. So that's a little something goal that I have for myself. Going off of that, I do read a fair amount of queer books, but I do definitely want to increase my number of books that I read from diverse authors when it comes to like BIPOC. So that's definitely another goal of mine that I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to like track and make sure of things, but I do want to try and maybe find a way that like at least once a month I'm reading from some diverse author. I do want to also mention that I do already have like my big goal for this year is to read through my own TBR. So I don't really want to be buying a lot of new books because I'm trying to save at the moment because I want to move out and live on my own. I do really want to read my own TBR, and like I'm gonna even film a video that'll come out sometime January or Feb that's like, this is my entire own TBR kind of thing, and so I can go through it at the end of the year and like see how things have changed. But like that's my big push, and so like I will be looking for diverse authors that like are already on my shelves, because I do have like a fair amount on here that like I haven't read from before. I feel like I'm going so off topic, like I keep changing. I really should have planned this out a bit more. Can you guys tell I didn't plan this very well? I just wanted to do like a nice sit down video. I'm not someone who really plans out their videos to the T, but I do like always have a vague idea. I just think it's better to be like natural. I'm just like a natural talking person. What am I? Sometimes I question myself. Anyway, I do want to mention that. So I do want to read more diversely. I do already read a lot of queer books, although my queer reads do tend to be mostly contemporary. So I do want to find a lot more queer romances. I've only read, I think, like 2 or 3 sapphic romances, and I've actually never read, I've also read a lot of polyamorous and like MMF romances, but I haven't read like any specific like male romances, and I definitely want to read more sapphic. I do love my sapphic romances, it's just a lot of them are fade to black, and it would be fun to find some that like aren't. I do also, like I said earlier, I do want to read more middle grade this year. There are a lot of series that I do want to read. I'm trying to think, like, how do I want to do this? Like, I want at least 10% of the books that I read to be middle grade this year. I think that's going to be like my tentative goal. Like, at least like every 2 or 3 months I want to get a middle grade read, just because like it's a genre that I love as a palette cleanse, and also because there's always so much growth that you can find on middle grade, and it's also such a pivotal genre when it comes to like young readers that I just want to be more a part of. And I do love middle grade, it's just not something that I own a lot of, and so I just am not that compelled to go out and like buy stuff. I want to do more manga videos, and I definitely want to branch out a little bit and do like a couple of anime videos, just because it is a huge part of my life. You guys have seen my manga collection before. I have like double stacked rows of mangas like up above me. Like, mangas are some of my favorite to read. They have always been like a comfort to me, always. They were always something that I was really shy about talking about, because people would make fun of me when I was like a kid and be like, oh, you read that stuff, you watch that stuff, and like it'd be like my secret, like my little, it was like a guilty pleasure, and it really shouldn't be. Like, it's something that I freaking love, and I do want to make more videos on my channel about it. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I only ever do recommendation videos, and I definitely want to do a couple more like reading vlogs where I'm like reading a bunch of mangas, because I love spending like a full Sunday just like marathoning a bunch of like different mangas, because I do have some on my shelves like I haven't read before, or some that are like my old favorite series, like I would love to reread and things like that. So definitely, like, you know, you'll see more manga videos from me. And I know this is primarily like a bookish channel, but like, mangas are books. Like, come on people, like, really? But yeah, that was like my last goal. I want to read more diversely, and I don't want to just like throw that out there and like not actually achieve it. Like, it's definitely something that like I'm making a conscious decision to do, because when I did look back at my books that I read this year, like, yes, I have some diverse reads in it, and I did make a lot more of a conscious decision after things that went down last year with Black Lives Matter. Like, I did make more of an effort, and sometimes I do just subconsciously pick from POC authors, but it's something that I want to more consciously make a decision about, and want to consciously like pay attention to these things. So that's one. Second thing is to read from my actual TBR this year. Like, I want to read my physical books. I want to read what I own. Third thing is more manga videos. So yeah, that's it for this video. It was pretty quick. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna start a Patreon. So if the Patreon has already been created by the time this video goes out, I will link it down below. But if it is not, do keep an eye out for it, because I'm very excited. It is something that I have had planned. Don't worry, there won't be any content on there, like you won't be able to get here. And I'm not someone who's going to be like, you get an exclusive see at this video before it releases, because I never schedule my videos. Well, I do, but I schedule them at like 2 AM to go up at 9:45 in the morning, because I'm really bad at pre-editing stuff. Like, if I know I'm like moving and things like that, I will pre-edit and pre-upload, but I very rarely do that. I'm such like a pantser, it's not even funny. But yeah, I will be creating a Patreon. It's not gonna be anything too like out of the world, but something that's really fun, and I think it'd be a really cool way for me to like interact with all of you a bit more, because I don't know, it just would be. And like I said, I am trying to save to move, and yes. Okay, that is it. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button. If you do enjoy, what is my thing again? If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thanks a bunch. Bye.